Bruce coming to you once again with Weeder's Digest. We're your lake and pond help desk, and I just want to thank you for stopping by and visiting us this last weekend. Actually, it was about 8 days ago from the Lake, Home, and Cabin Show. We had a fantastic show. I hope you enjoyed it as well. One of the things that you did was you signed up for our drawing, and so we're going to go through the drawings for 5 $100 gift certificates. I also want to tell you about a few things that you saw at our booth, and also tell you a few things that you didn't see at our booth that you might want to know about. Also, this next weekend, we're going to be actually in Chicago doing the Lake, Home, and Cabin Show, where our business will actually be one of the featured speakers. And we're going to do a seminar, I believe, let's see if I can get the details right. It's going to be the 7 strategies to clean your beach and have a healthy lake forever. And it's really kind of a 2-part program that we're talking about. One is what you can do with your own lakeshore, and the second thing is what you can do to involve the people in the lake that you live on. I live on a lake right here in Plymouth, and I'll give you a really short story. I've lived there about I think it's 9 or 10 years, and when I moved there, it was almost uninhabitable for swimmers, and sometimes I even think for fish. But we have completely turned that lake around through our association, and I'd like to think that the business of mine, the Weeder's Digest, has also had an impact with that. We have completely removed the milfoil. Actually, we have, I think it's been about 5 years since we have seen any main milfoil. We did see some northern milfoil, which is really not that big of a deal, but we also saw, I think it was last year, we saw about, if I remember right, it was like a dozen plants of milfoil. When I first came there, curly leaf had overtaken the lake, so our first year, and I'm a big skier, we could not even ski on the lake during the month of May and June. We have not seen curly leaf in, I believe it is about 6 years. Our water clarity used to be, and this is all documented with the DNR, our water clarity was around 3 feet most of the year. We have now gone for about 4 years with averaging between, say, about 11 and 13 feet of clarity. This is a city lake, and there's people very close here in Plymouth that don't even think it's a swimmable, usable lake. But it is, in my opinion, it is phenomenal. We're now in a process of completely aerating our entire lake, and as we do that, we expect to see a dramatic reduction in the weeds that are in our lake, as well as literally feet of reduction of muck and sediment. I would encourage you to stay connected to the Weeder's Digest to see how that exactly plays out. And we've done all this through our association. We've worked with the city, the DNR, we've worked on receiving some grants. But in the end, a lot of what we've done is kind of our own hard work and our own studies to come up with this information. It's something that I'd be really thrilled to be able to share with you as well. And before we get to the drawing, I'll show you one of the things that in the bottom of our lake. I was talking about the aeration. So we have the lake is very small. It's less than 40 acres, and we have 9,000 feet of hose. It's a weighted hose like this that runs through the bottom of the lake. And then it runs out to a diffuser like this that the air flows from the tube, one compressor up on the shore, and then the air comes out through this stone or this ceramic. And so it's called laminar flow aeration. Be happy to tell you more about that if you'd like to know more. And then another thing that the things that you might have missed at our booth is, I don't know if you were aware, but we carry complete irrigation pumps that are kind of a do-it-yourself type of thing that you can just literally draw the water right out of the lake and water your lawn or your garden, your shrubs, whatever the case might be. I love it because I'm drawing that high nutrient water out of the lake and I'm putting it on my yard, and I can guarantee you that I use less fertilizer because of that, and less fertilizer of course is better for the lake as a whole. Other people buy our irrigation system with a fire hose connected to it, and they'll use it up north in case there would ever be a fire at their more remote type of a lake property. So that's a couple of things. Other things that you did probably see is that we had our lily pad ripper. That is the only tool that's designed to tear out the lily pads by the roots. Obviously something you want to make sure you're doing it in accordance, as with all of our stuff, in accordance with the DNR. We also have our cattail cutter. We've got about 4 different tools designed for cutting cattails. We do carry some herbicides. It's not something we're real proud of because we like to be able to show people how you can do this without the use of herbicides. But you know, there is a need for them in certain applications, and again, back to my own lake, that's, you know, part of how we've accomplished it, and we've augmented it with the use of bacteria and enzymes for the muck removal and, you know, improving the algae and the water clarity and those type of things. Now we've also got a number of different things that you didn't see, like our beach groomer system that uses that irrigation pump that I was referring to get rid of the silt and the muck. We also carry fountains, and you know, fountains are not, from what I know in Minnesota, we don't have many fountains that people use in lakes. I have one of mine on my own shoreline, and I just think it's phenomenal to be able to have the water flow. It kind of is a white noise in the backyard, and it actually does do some aeration, minimal, but it actually keeps the water kind of flowing around the area. So we are a very large supplier of fountains to not so much the lake crowd, but more ponds and things like that all around the country. Another thing that we didn't tell you about is we carry actually our own harvester. We're the exclusive distributor of a harvester that doesn't cut the weeds, it actually pulls the weeds. It's like a wringer washer type of thing, and as it grabs the weeds, it literally pulls them and rips them up and brings them right into the boat. Literally, it was the day after the show that when we saw you, that we had 3 of those that we actually shipped to Saudi Arabia. So we're kind of excited about that. That's something that you might want to contact us about. You could even just go to Google and type in lake weed puller, and I think we actually have a website called that's ecoharvester.net is a good way to go. But you can learn more about that, and in the summertime, if you'd like to get a demo of that, we usually have that available for local demos. We don't have those set up yet, of course, but we'll be starting to set those up probably in late April, something like that. We also carry some other things that kind of are outside of the lakes, I mean, as far as the weeds and the algae and things like that. We carry some boat lift motors that are very unique that we always make sure that we've got those around. We've got de-icers that people use to keep their docks open, a lot of that out on the East Coast. We have goose control, duck control. This is without herbicides, it's actually a mechanical tool. And so we've got a lot of different things that I would encourage you. I'm right now in our warehouse here in New Hope, just we're 2 blocks out from 169. But I would encourage you to give us a call and set up a time to stop by and check out some of the different things we offer, or give us a call. And you know, one of the other things that I enjoy doing, I grew up in the Brainerd Lakes area. My family was always part of the different association, whether it was my brother or my dad or my mom or myself. So I really enjoy working with lake associations. And if there would be the need that, you know, your lake association could use somebody to come and share some of these ideas with you, with your group, you know, depending upon the location, I would be interested in doing that. We've also done those in webinars and also via Skype calls for those that are up north. All right, so I told you that I wanted to get through these. I could kind of continue to talk all day about things that I think you would have an interest in improving your lakeshore, like we've done on ours, but and as well as we've done for people all around the world. We actually ship really on a daily basis. We ship to Canada. On a weekly basis, we ship to the UK, and we ship to countries I personally have never heard of before. So anyway, let's get to those 5 different. And so we're going to just. You know, I'm going through all these completely random. I hope that your writing was good enough so that I can read it as I pull them up here. All right, and so the first one we have is Jim, and he is on Upper Turtle Lake in Barron County, so that is in Wisconsin. By the way, I don't know if you know it, but Wisconsin is actually one of the very toughest states, literally, that we deal with anywhere in the world. And so they've got some really tough things. But Jim, you had questions about issues with weeds and muck on Turtle Lake, and so, I'm sorry, Upper Turtle. And so, some things I might suggest in Wisconsin, very tough on some of the different rules, so I would suggest maybe our weed shear, the Beach Buddy, and the muck. I'll tell you what, if you didn't figure it out at the show, we really are kind of almost, I don't know if this is a good thing to say or not, but we're the experts in muck. And I started out trying to manage the weeds around my property, and since then have learned a lot of ways to manage the muck. And I think there's about 6 different ways that we have for that. So let's keep grabbing one here. This one we have, I think it's Deb. Deb is in Stearns County on Cedar Island. Stearns County, Cedar Island Lake. Biggest issue there is algae, and we did bring it to the show, but we actually have something that actually cleans the algae off the surface. I've got a few tips for you there, as well as just using our aqua thruster or aqua blaster to kind of stir things up. That's helpful as well, just to kind of keep things moving. But that's just that's 2 of probably 5 different things to think of with algae. If you're looking for a whole lake or lake-wide algae treatment, that's another thing that we can talk about. By the way, there's something that's called chara or chara, and that actually is, by most people's standards, would be considered a weed. It's actually an algae. But I'm assuming that Deb is probably referring to more what we call filamentous algae, which is kind of that green, slimy stuff that it starts out on the bottom and comes up to the surface and then bubbles and grows like that. We get that on the lake that I live on. We're hoping that the aeration is taking care of that, but I have a video. I think if you searched in YouTube and typed harvesting algae from a lake, you'll see how I took acres of algae, sucked it up. I never even got wet to do this. I sucked it up and I put it on my lawn. I turned that algae into, I'll get to it, okay? I turned that algae into a surface coating on my grass. It caused my grass to grow really well. Then when it dried, I literally cut it like sod. I rolled it up. I put it on Craigslist as compost and I sold it. There's a video out there, and it's quite compelling if you ask me. Okay, so far I'm able to read these pretty good. We got Dave on, there we go. There's one that, Crow Wing Lake, Crow Wing County, and I should know most of the lakes in Crow Wing County, but it's D-A-H-L-E-D, Dahled. That doesn't seem quite right. And Dave, last name starts with a D. There's a tip for you. He says he's dealing with weeds, muck, and algae. Well, that's the story of my life. When I started out on the lake that I live on, that's exactly what we had was, I don't know, I'll take a pick. I don't think I could have told you which was worse, but they were all bad. And now I can tell you that we have that under control. Okay, so we are number 4. Number 4 winner of the $100 gift certificates is Ray, and Ray is on. Ray is from Pennsylvania. Now that's the first that I've seen. I didn't realize we had many people that were at the show from out that way. Maybe it was one of the vendors or something. So Ray is on a river out in the Delta of PA, Pennsylvania. So can't tell you much about that. Don't have many ideas of what you might be dealing with out in there. Incidentally, I'm going to share something that I guess I'd be kind of telling on one of my competitor that was there. We've never had competitors when we do the shows. It's pretty much just been us. But there was somebody else that came to the show, and I'm going to try to be nice here. They claimed things that just flat out were not true. I'll say they were even lies. And they were saying that all you have to do is keep the water moving and you won't have weeds. Boy, I wish that worked, because I got a lot of ways to keep the water moving, but that is not the way to get rid of weeds. So, boy, that I could say a whole bunch more, but people that show up at a show like that and say things kind of gives us all a bad name, right? But that's not the type of business we're in. We try to really provide good, solid advice that works, that you can count on. So, All right, so I think we are at, yeah, I got one more to do here. We got John. He is from Hartley Lake, and his biggest issue is weeds. And, you know, we've got a lot of different things that we can help you out with there. So, John, I would suggest once you get your $100 gift certificate, we will want to talk about that to think about what different issues you might have. Hey, you know what, let's just for kicks, let's do one more in case somebody doesn't claim these, because we said the only way we would give these out is via email. We've got to watch the video, so maybe somebody doesn't want to listen to this long, rambling video. So we're going to take one more, and this is Larry. He's on Eland Lake, and that is in Isani County. Biggest issue that he has is weeds. And so I would encourage Larry, once again, whether it's our weed shear, the Beach Buddy, the Beach Groomer, a lot of different options there. I suggest you give us a call. Let's figure out what's best for you, because it's not a one-size-fits all, depending upon what you have. There's some things we want to do, and we want to make sure we're doing it within the guidelines of the Department of Natural Resources. So that is our drawing, and you know what? I'd encourage you all to, give us a call. You know what? Let me think if I can come up with a quick little. I'll tell you what. Any order over, I'll just throw it out this way. Any order over $300 that you place with us over the phone and reference this long rambling video, we'll give you $50 off. But this has to be claimed before the end of February. I really didn't think about putting this out there, but we'll just kind of wing it from there. And again, my name is Bruce with Weeders Digest, and you can check us out at weedersdigest.com. You can set up an appointment to visit us at our shop here in New Hope, just literally 2 blocks out from 169 and 49th Avenue. And I'm sure that if you're at the Minneapolis show, there's a pretty good chance you're not going to be at the Chicago show, but might be a great opportunity for us. We'll be giving this presentation on the strategies to manage your lake. We're calling it managing your beach and your entire lake forever. And I don't know for a fact that we're going to record that. I hope we do. I hope that's something that we can send out to you in a video. The only way that you would get that is you'd need to request that from us. And so shoot us an email. Again, my name is Bruce. You can email me at bruce@weedersdigest.com. Visit our website, weedersdigest.com. Give us a call at the number that you probably see on the screen right now, 763-551-1441. And I thank you. I hope it's not that we don't see you until the next show. I hope we see you sometime in between. And again, summer's coming, and you got to come by and see us at weedersdigest.com. Thank you.